cry over your spilled milk.
Milk is good for bones.
You'll need it. Got milk?
This is one of the many advertisements brought to us by the Got Milk campaign, which started in 1993. As we all know, cartoons and often superheroes are used in food advertising, which is marketed towards children and young adults. There are many studies that prove the success of this strategy. Just look at Popeye, who became super strong by gulping down a can of slimy spinach. If a cartoon is influencing kids to actually eat spinach, you know it must work. But is milk always good for you? This is a message we will explore in this video. I'm sure you noticed that the Powerpuff Girls commercial included chocolate milk. There's another commercial with strawberry milk. While there are exceptions, most of these products are heavy on sugar and artificial flavorings. Not exactly something you want your kids guzzling down in droves. Here's what Harvard University is saying. Milk and dairy products are a convenient source of calcium for many people. They're also a good source of protein and are fortified with vitamins D and A. At this time, however, the optimal intake of calcium is not clear, nor is the optimal food source or sources of calcium. Currently, there's no good evidence that consuming more than one serving of milk per day in addition to a reasonable diet, which typically provides about 300 milligrams of calcium per day from non-dairy sources, will reduce fracture risk. The National Academy of Sciences recommends people ages 19 to 50 consume 1,000 milligrams of calcium per day, and if you're over 50, 1,200 milligrams of calcium per day. Milk is notorious for disagreeing with some people's digestive systems, including 85% of Asians, 50% of African Americans, and 10% of Caucasians. In one investigation, bone fracture risk was similar in meat eaters, fish eaters, and vegetarians, but higher in vegans, most likely due to their low intake of calcium. This is a more detailed recommended daily allowance chart for calcium and recommended food sources of calcium. As you can see, yogurt tops the list, with fortified orange juice coming in second. The greens have calcium, but you have to really like them, as one serving is only 7 to 8% of the recommended daily value. Despite 85% of Asians having an intolerance to lactose, the highest incidence of osteoporosis is actually in Norway. The British Medical Journal does not believe a high intake of calcium helps prevent fractures, and that proofs claiming calcium supplementation can help prevent bone fractures are weak and inconsistent. They also concluded that vitamin D supplementation of milk fails to enhance the drink's ability to prevent osteoporosis. It could possibly be that Norwegians need more natural vitamin D, such as sunlight, in order to help prevent osteoporosis, but I didn't find any studies on this. In a now famous study in Sweden, they examined whether high milk consumption is associated with mortality and fractures. They determined that high milk intake was associated with higher mortality in one cohort of women and in another cohort of men, and with higher fracture incidence in women. In Korea, a study was performed to identify the effects of dairy products among Korean postmenopausal women. During the 4 years follow-up study, the cumulative incidence of osteoporosis was 18.4% in the radius and 33.6% in the tibia. The subjects with a high frequency of dairy product consumption showed a lowered risk of radius osteoporosis after adjusting for potential confounders. A high frequency of dairy consumption had a protective effect on radius osteoporosis risk. So what should we do in the face of osteoporosis? Well, there are foods that can help. You can try dairy, but only if well tolerated. I would recommend the low-fat yogurt because it has the highest amount of calcium, but it also has certain bacteria that can help you digest the dairy. I would also recommend for the lactose intolerant, lactose-free dairy products. Fortified orange juice, making bone broth is an excellent source, and dark green leafy vegetables, but like I said earlier, you're going to have to eat a lot of them. Some supportive actions would be to maintain healthy calcium, vitamin D, phosphorus, and protein levels. Do weight-bearing exercises regularly. Get sunshine. And don't smoke or drink alcohol excessively. So the bottom line, does milk create stronger bones? Well, it depends on who you talk to. Milk can help certain children have healthy bones later in life. Due to intolerances and other factors, milk is not good for every child or adult. It is best not to overdo it. Remember, in the Swedish study, it was the higher intake of milk that appeared to increase the risk of fracture. Milk contains natural sugar. Minimize the amount of dairy products given to children that contain massive amounts of sugar and artificial ingredients. I know I had a picture on the previous slide with yogurt with the Powerpuff Girls on it. That was really just for fun. Don't buy that. And choose products that advertise and provide exactly what you're looking for instead of what appeals to children without meeting their nutritious needs. As you can see, I've got this lovely, lovely cup of macadamia milk. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.